a conversation about all things finance related, faith and finance, that is. It's time for our conversation with Drew Blazsik. Good morning, Drew.
Hey, Drew.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Good. How are the roads out there?
It's a little slippery out there. It's been snowing, and that's on top of all the ice. So it's been, I saw a pretty bad car accident by my house.
Ooh.
And then it was probably about 50 feet down the road. That's where all the parts of the car was.
Oh, my.
Oh, my goodness.
Or, I'm sorry, 50 feet from the accident. So
Wow.
it was pretty bad.
Yeah, a lot of sliding after impact, probably.
Yeah, and then when I was slowing down coming in here, kind of a sign I need to get new tires, I think, because I was kind of sliding as well.
Well, or it could be a sign that there's ice on the road. Anyway, but yeah, it could be a combination of the two. Good morning to you. Where do you want to take us this morning? Many things going on, and so many big things happened since the last time we talked to you, including the plummet of gold and silver. Silver and gold, they're plummeting. Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
They're sliding just like the roads, I think.
My goodness.
I don't know. I try to put
you
that in
talked
there.
about it, and then bam, it happened just a week ago.
Yeah. So you have Bitcoin saw a massive dip. So Bitcoin that was at a high of, I believe, 120-ish, and right now it's sitting around 65,000 per Bitcoin. And the only thing I read about that, now Bitcoin's very tricky and like why is it going up or down, but it could be confidence in the economy, and people are pulling their money out because they got to put money in other places. I saw also was from the sell-off from tech companies, and then gold and silver. Gold went up to gold is still really high.
Right.
It was at I think when I saw it 5,300. Now it's at 48. I think so. Not as big of a dip than Bitcoin has. I mean, Bitcoin's very volatile. So if that's something you like, risk and where you get real excited and then real sad and depressed, and that's Bitcoin. And then gold, gold. I think that gold has gone up because the stability of the dollar has just been very much on the teeter. It's just not. There's a lot of risk of the dollar has been losing value, and I think a lot of central banks has been buying up gold. That's what typically happens. They buy up gold and they view that as a safer asset than the U.S. dollar, and I think that's what's going on. But you might get a massive correction because one thing that's I think it was Father Fahey, they wrote about it, is that the manipulators of gold, and this can happen if you get a bunch of wealthy people purchasing gold, and you might see a massive sell-off and they get those profits. Gold is an easy thing to do that with because there's less of it, and then you got silver, which is more plentiful, so that's a harder thing to do as silver. So when you see silver hit those prices, that's a big teller. There's something fundamentally, there's issues with the economy when you see silver in those.
And you could see the volatility of it, right? It was one announcement. He said one thing. He talked about one appointment, and bam, the bottom fell. Not the bottom, because as you said, gold goes from 5,300 to 4,800, silver from 115 down to 85. It's not like it was down to $20 and $30 like it was 5 years before.
Yeah, but that's pretty crazy jump. I mean, because everyone talks about gold and silver as something that's stable. I mean, I don't think people really, Bitcoin is considered something else, but seeing silver go from what you say 115 to 85, and that's massive. I mean, that's a volatile asset. That's what it looks like. But I think that's part of the reason it just jumped up so high, because of the economy, and it's just self-correcting where it should be at. I think that's good news. Silver shouldn't be that high. I think that's kind of dangerous. But when I was watching a lot of experts talk about silver was at the time around 50, and they called that was a dangerous price.
At too
50.
high.
Yeah,
Wow.
As a high. They said that's where they compared it to a like a water heater. You have the pressure relief valve. That it's something with the economy. There's some pressure happening. And that silver is that sign of that. And we just see a skyrocket more. But I think that's also when you see those prices hit, it's also correcting from the devaluing of the dollar, because the dollar can't purchase as much and everything's priced in dollars. And I don't have the numbers with me, but how many dollars have they printed since 2020?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's more than half of all the dollars out there. And if you look at any textbook back in the day, and they changed things, was inflation. Like if you ask the average person what's inflation, inflation today is prices. That's not true. Inflation's the inflated money supply. That's what inflation is always stood by. It was in the dictionary. Everything was defined by that, and prices were a result of that. And if you define it by the actual what it really is, then you hold those responsible for why we're getting inflation. But if you just say prices, what do people typically, who do they blame for that? They could blame companies. They blame people. Oh, they're being greedy, trying to charge more prices. It's because of the money supply. It's always been because of the money supply. When you get a change in price because of other reasons, it's because you have a natural disaster, you have a war, you have a shortage, stuff like that. But that's not a reason why we see an increase in prices today. And it's now you could say because of the war and we use the dollar as a weapon and stuff, but
that's a good reminder though, because we do forget. We set our own benchmarks, kind of.
Oh, absolutely, and we set those benchmarks, but this point the finger at the ones who need to be pointed at is our monetary system.
Right.
And it's been spoken by many Catholic economists that it's a corrupt system of how it's set up, and it should be a more stable one. Father Fahey talked about it, and some other people, I'm kind of losing their names on it, but they've always wrote about it. It's a usurious system. It's based on usury. It's always been.
Yeah, and let's keep it there on the faith side of that, Drew, as we look at where we're at as a country with a debt that continues to spiral out of control, and no real stopping, no pointing toward, hey, we're going to get this under control, we're going to start to pay it down. No, we're going to kind of continue to go in that direction, and some kind of good is going to come out of it. How would that compare to Catholic teaching, kind of the direction we've chosen to go in from that perspective?
Well, I mean, many of the programs that we have and we do in what a military-industrial complex and all that, it's because we're going massively into debt, and we got to pay the. It's always been taught that if you have a future generation paying off the previous generation debt, that's wrong. That's ethically wrong. That's in many regards, some would say, as sinful as to have your children pay off the debt for you. That's why the 50-year mortgage is wrong. Debt is wrong all the way around, and debt's always been considered a last resort, it's an emergency. And it's always been looked down upon. But in our society, because you have inflated prices, it makes sense to go into debt because you get to purchase things before they go up in prices. And that's how the system is, and it forces people into that system. But you're right. We're at last time I checked in my class when I was teaching, I love putting that. If you're next to a computer, type in national debt clock.
Depressing.
I think it's like 38.5 trillion.
Yeah.
And there's only two ways out of this. And I think there's going to be another issue with this. But the two ways out of it is that you default on your debt.
Right.
Number one. Or what you do is, and this always happens if you look at it, the current wage will always follow inflation, which means if prices rise by 10%, the wages will rise by 10%. It always happens that way, right? So what you do is wages rise with it, and then as it does that, you inflate your you inflate your debt out of it. So everyone's making, let's say the average wage is $70,000 now, and then it becomes $100,000, and then if you really inflate it, then it's $1 million, and then that $38 trillion doesn't seem as big. So what they're trying to do is it's called GDP to or a national debt to GDP ratio. It's on the debt clock, the fourth one in that middle section on the bottom or on the left side. You see there's four percentages.
Yeah,
right now it's at 124%. They always say over 100% is dangerous. So it's national debt to GDP. And you want to get that under 100%. And back in 1960, it was, 50? I think it says.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's the two ways you attack it. And then the third way, and I hate to say it this way, is typically the world powers that are vying for that reserve currency. It's going to happen with war. It always has. And that's the dangerous thing, and I think that's where we're headed.
Wow. Eye-opening, as always, Drew Blazsik.
Well, everybody have a great weekend.
Yeah. Enjoy the roads.
Exactly.
Be careful out there. Be careful in here. Be careful everywhere.
Yeah. So, faith in finance. Thank you, Drew.
Hey, thanks,
Drew.
Have a great weekend.
You as well.